Hello there, what is going on? We've got Dustin Poirier versus Joseph Duffy. This is a good fight, a really good fight. Usually, I know I say that all the time, but it's usually I make a video on a fight that I'm somewhat excited about, or if there's some type of controversy, maybe I do. There's got to be something that catches my interest, and this fight catches my interest for sure. Now, if you don't know who Joseph Duffy is, that's a possibility. You know, maybe you just haven't heard of the guy. Most people know of him because he's the last guy to beat Conor McGregor. I almost wasn't even going to mention that, but because everybody else is mentioning it, I figure everybody knows it. But that's like really his claim to fame right now. However, that being said, it's his claim to fame. He beat Conor McGregor when Conor McGregor, it was 5 years ago. You know, obviously McGregor wasn't as good, but you know, neither was Joseph Duffy. So I'm not going to take that away from him at all. And hey, 5 years ago, Conor McGregor was beating people too. He was beating people then too. So Joseph Duffy beat Conor McGregor. Let's just say that. And the thing is, though, people may be sleeping on Joseph Duffy. This could go either way. I mean, he hasn't really fought anybody that most people that will jump out at you. They'd be like, whoa. But he's probably going to be in the future, especially if he beats Dustin Poirier. And if he beats Dustin Poirier, that's going to be the biggest win, the biggest name of anybody that he's beat other than Conor McGregor. And it's going to be a real big win. Dustin Poirier, he's won, I think, of his last 6 fights, he's won 5, you know, or he's won 4 of his last 5, something like that. You know, so he's been winning. I mean, he's got knocked out by Conor McGregor. We all know that. But Dustin Poirier is a very good fighter. He's very experienced, and Joseph Duffy has his hands full with this fight. But like I said, it's worth it, because if he beats Dustin Poirier, which there's a possibility that he will, his career is really going to take off. And if Dustin Poirier beats Joseph Duffy, I don't know. He's going to be kind of like just in the same point, same spot. You know, just one less fight away from being retired. I mean, Dustin Poirier is very young, but what I mean is these guys, they start losing. Next thing you know, they get cut from the UFC. So if you keep winning, you're just on that track to continue to get paychecks. And I think that's probably the best thing that Dustin Poirier can do is just try and keep winning. So if I had to choose who's going to win this fight, I would say Dustin Poirier is going to win. I'm yawning so much. I've been up since early in the morning. I would say Dustin Poirier is going to win, but like I was starting to say, people may be sleeping on Joseph Duffy. This guy straight up finishes fights. He's got tons of submissions. I forget how many submissions. A lot. I better not start saying, oh, he's got 9 submissions, because maybe it's 10, but you know, something like that. But he's got a lot of submissions, submitting people like crazy. Doesn't go to decisions. Dustin Poirier doesn't go to decision very often either. Both these guys are fight finishers. Dustin Poirier's got a lot of TKOs. He's got submissions too. So this should be a good fight. That's what I'm saying. This should be a really, really good fight. And the thing is, when somebody like Joseph Duffy, who there's no names that really... This is why I say people may be sleeping on him. Because just because there's no names, he hasn't beaten any big names. Although he beat Conor McGregor, so that's what I'm getting at. But most of the other guys that he's beaten, he hasn't... Yeah, just because he hasn't beaten any big names, he just hasn't fought them, because they haven't beat him either. You see what I'm saying? they haven't beat him either. He's Joseph Duffy, I believe, he's got one loss. He's like 14-1. Maybe it's 13-1, something like that. Dustin Poirier is, I forget his exact record, but he's lost, I better not say, he's only lost a handful of fights, 3 or 4 fights. It's either 3 and then Conor was 4, something like that. You know, so he's got both of these guys have really good records, but what I'm saying is with Joseph Duffy is just because he has not beat these names, he hasn't fought them. Maybe if he had fought tougher competition, he would have beat them because he's walked right through, you know, 9 submissions and you know, he's just, I mean, the guy's record looks great. You know, now Dustin Poirier, on the other hand, he has a win over Max Holloway. That's pretty impressive. But, you know, he lost to Conor McGregor. He lost to Cub Swanson. And if you go through his fights, those are really like probably the biggest fights of his career, and he lost them. So if Joseph Duffy is on the level, if he is going to be top tier in the UFC, maybe he's at that level now. He just hasn't had a chance to prove it, and now he's getting a chance to prove it. And, you know, based on statistics and just looking at these two fighters, you know, their experience, to say, oh, Dustin Poirier is going to win this fight. But out of the small chance that Joseph Duffy is really that good, and he just has not earned that status yet, kind of like Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor came to UFC and was the best thing in the 145 division, but he hadn't really beaten anybody yet. But that doesn't mean his skill level is not there. You know, people were doubting him, but he sure seemed confident about it. You know, Joseph Duffy's a completely different personality, but all I'm saying is, you know, there's no reason. Dustin Poirier's got the experience, he's got the skill set, but we are going to find out how good Joseph Duffy is. Is Joseph Duffy really very top tier, or is he just somebody that has a really good record that hasn't really fought anybody? If he didn't have that win over Conor McGregor, guys, it's no coincidence. If you beat somebody that's a very talented individual, I mean, we all know how athletic and how fast you know, Conor McGregor is. So if you can get somebody like that caught in a submission, regardless of how long they've been training, that's impressive to me. That means that you're quick and you got your A game going too. So if he did not have that win, I would just say, oh, Dustin Poirier just walks through him. But it's that one fight, that Conor McGregor fight, that's got me thinking, man, maybe this guy, you know, if maybe this guy is really good. Maybe he beat Conor McGregor once. Maybe he can beat him again. You know, we've seen that with guys. They just destroy everybody, but they got that one fighter that's their kryptonite. You know, and maybe Joseph Duffy is the Conor McGregor kryptonite. And you're not hearing too much about him right now, but if he beats Dustin Poirier, bam, he's just going to, from that point on, Joseph Duffy's going to be, up until he loses, he's going to be, boom, big fights. Big fights. So this is a really, really big fight for Dustin Poirier, and it's a really, really big fight for Joseph Duffy. A bigger fight for Joseph Duffy, and probably a harder fight than Dustin Poirier is going to probably be getting credit for or be getting paid for. And if Dustin Poirier beats Joseph Duffy, I will be impressed, and I will say, man, you know, Dustin Poirier is good, and I like Dustin Poirier. I like him just fine. So yeah, that's my take on that, and I'll see you guys later.